reincarnated. I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need all my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. I keep a horn on me. That could my C. IP. Ownership, the blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off, I get off at my feet.
Welcome. It's another Coop special death, special wealth, special things to happen here. We're dedicating ourselves to the vocation of mastering life and death and the demons in our hearts. This time, we're doing some fun things. We're gonna go ahead and start this journey to discover Deathlin's deathly death powers. Not Deathlin, I'm sorry. This other girl, Nella. We're gonna discover her powers and get her to a more awakened state in this episode. You're gonna have to go through a lot. Like I said, this is a death master, so we'll say goodbye to her for a short period. But like I said, guys, ego death is what we need to do. And today, on the podcast section, I suppose that'll be the most of our story spoiler section. This episode is kind of a trip, so I really don't want to spoil too much of it. If you want to watch the gameplay footage, feel free to. The Deathmaster quest is really interesting. This last half has a couple of twists, and then we introduce a main villain, which usually doesn't happen in these quests. I'm gonna be honest, they're usually, they kind of just show up at the end. Underlining thing, but you actually get to see him here pretty early on. But anyways, I'm rambling in Dragon Quest world. Let's ramble in our own problems, in our own festered neurotic thoughts for a second here. And we're gonna talk about the death of the job. The occupation, the career used to be really fun. Used to be really great in America and other places, everywhere. It used to be really fantastic. And lately we're noticing the death of it. And that is because, it's kind of like the same thing as everything else dying nowadays. Dating dying and, buying houses dying and all that shit. It's because it's no longer a consumer market. Getting a job or getting a girlfriend or getting a house, it's now a seller's market. There's so many people applying. There's so many people looking for dates that are guys. Not to say the girls aren't looking for that too, but they're looking for they're just looking. They're just fucking looking, man. We're being fed a lot of bullshit, honestly, on the things you need, when in reality, there's just a combination of confidence and force that you need, and that's about it. That's about it. With a lot of things in life, it's not more complicated than that. Truth be told. Nah, man. It really comes down to how much you're willing to sacrifice of your own soul to change someone else's. And if we realize this and you have no regards for yourself or, your own psyche, you're eventually going to kill yourself for no reason. And that's what's happening to guys. They realize they've sacrificed so much in this seller's market when in reality, this Beyonce song, don't you ever get to thinking you're not irreplaceable, because motherfucker, you are. You're incredibly irreplaceable, unless you make yourself irreplaceable, which is very hard to do. You gotta sacrifice a lot of your soul. Job-wise, this is pretty easy to do for me, because when I come to a job, I come to sacrifice my soul. That's why I'm there, because I want to be a soulless, mindless puppet. But when you do that in a job and you don't have the added force to get what you want, and a lot of the reasons why we don't have this force is because we don't really know what we want. Nobody told us, or I guess they did tell us, you want to go to college and be all smart and shit, but that's not really how the happiness comes, Nobody really tells you what to aim towards in life. You're supposed to just dedicate that towards something you see or a model you see. But oftentimes, us young boys don't really have good models of a happy life, Especially not in our immediate group, right? Like right around us. I know, especially in a lot of minorities, African families, it can go like this, I suppose, hopefully, it's a little unlikely to believe nowadays. Ooh, here with the train. But I suppose, our more lighter complexion, less melanin folks would have a higher chance to have, good father figures. Just a higher percentage chance, not saying that if you're white, you didn't have good parents, you fucked up. Once again, we don't really have a lot of choices, but we can build from there. And, the problem is people don't build the right way. You have to make mistakes. I'm all for making mistakes. Let's make all the mistakes, guys. But a lot of people are just told when they make the mistakes to do the feminine thing and go to your friends, or ask for advice, or analyze. You know what, guys? When you make a mistake, the only person you really need to analyze it is yourself and the person you made a mistake with. I hate it when people have problems with other people and then go and then conversate it about gossip with it with other people that are associated in that situation. Doesn't help, and because of that, a lot of people don't really fix their mistakes or learn from their mistakes or even do anything differently in life, because not only do people not respect the evolution, if you're, constantly an assholeless person and you try to change to be kind, everybody's going to be like, oh, look at this guy. Or you're if a kind guy and you constantly change to being assholeless, everybody's going to be like, oh, look at this guy. When in reality, guys, we're supposed to try a lot of weird shit, especially nowadays when we have so much weird shit at our fingertips. So, honestly, guys, be black, white, other, woman, man, trans, whatever you are, color, race, creed, generation, do not be afraid of your own growth, of your own evolution. You're not betraying anything. In fact, you are betraying yourself if you try to fit into someone else's box. Unless you want to, and you knowingly are. But a lot of people are betraying themselves thinking, yeah, I'm making a statement. I'm gonna post this on TikTok and show all these people their problems, when in reality you're betraying yourself by not focusing on your problems. You have problems. Oh my god, you have problems. I know y'all motherfuckers got problems, man. That's a good reason why you see them on TikTok in the first place. It's the problems. It's the constant whining and paining about their lives and how shitty they are. But they don't want to accept that the solution is delayed gratification. You have to stop making yourself feel good all the time. Let's do some chosen suffering. Let's do some chosen pain. Because doing the uncomfortable things like sitting alone with yourself for 30 minutes after work instead of constantly scrolling TikTok will bring you to a different place. But as humans, naturally, you're only going to do what you normally do, and it's very hard to do anything else. So unless somebody picks you up and shakes you around and, really, really gets through to you, and usually it's not one person, it's a combination of things, so I hope a little bit of this leaks through the edges to that slow ego death. But until that happens, you're not gonna see it. You're gonna go around wandering like a spirit, holding on and clutching on to all your worldly possessions that are supposed to give you happiness. And meanwhile, the main character's here just chilling, knowing that nothing in this world is going to give you happiness but yourself. And fulfilling his purpose, living his life, being in the moment. He doesn't really care. And you're gonna clutch that, wondering why he sees this wonderful moment, and you're clutching it, and you're like, I don't know, I don't understand why I'm not happy right now. I don't understand why I'm so like tense right now, hoping this doesn't leave. You gotta kill it. You gotta death it. You gotta Bentler. And just know in yourself that if you're true, you will never die. To not die in the world is to have values and instill those values to last another generation. And I think what's really depressing is the fact that people don't realize that these things have been ordained, have been constructed, have been built up, meta-grinded from our ancestors. Even the small things like Generation Z. They want your lineage to stop here. They don't want us to actually learn how to use the internet in a healthy way. This is very obvious. 2020, they shut everything down and they said, none of that outside world shit. None of that outside world shit. You're gonna learn how to use the internet, or you're gonna die. And they did. And they did. And what's really funny about it, and I'm gonna keep talking about this because I really feel like more people should know that not all infrared rays are bad, that sun is good, and please, 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 while we still have a non-nuclear, all trees chopped down world, explore a little bit of it. touch just a little bit of grass. Kill your PC batteries, you know? Unplug for a little bit. Because like I said, guys, you're gonna be really pissed off 2035, 2040, when shit really pops off and there's not a lot of cool spots to go to outside no more. Also, I feel like we should just be training as guys, you know? And a good way to train is in harsh climates, harsh conditions. I know we all love gyms. I used to love gyms. Now, I really, bro, I'll be honest with you. I'm be completely bare here. You know, my gym death, my gym death happened when I popped a boner in there, and I was like, you know what? I can't. I can't. This is too embarrassing for me. I can't. And I haven't told, like, I've literally told no one about this. But yeah, I was taking a break, and you know, I don't even think she was an Instagram model or anything. She was just wearing some tight ass shit. And on the cool down with my water bottle, I was just taking a break and sitting there, and I just happened to glance at the ass, and then you just get like hypnotized because like the testosterone is already in you, and I feel like I'm like, oh, I'm justifying this bullshit. There's no justifying it, you know. I'm super goon brained, you know, and I don't like the fact that now that so many things are combined and manipulated like that, it's like hard for a woman to not use her power in a way that's just, you know, like enjoyable life wise, you know, just enjoyable, just sustainable for a person. Because although and this is just me looking from the outside in, right? Although a woman's life truly isn't that hard or, you know, insane or whatever, because there's a lot of people trying to help them, at the same time it can be very boring, you know? And I understand this on a slight level because life without porn is very boring, you know? And if you imagine a woman's psyche, it's kind of like they always have post-nut clarity, like all the damn time. And you want something to disrupt that just gray that you see everywhere. You know, and like I said, guys, the whole psyche of man and woman, guys are there to make you feel good, and girls are there to look good. So they feel crap all the time, or nothing, and that's probably worse. So all the girls that feel nothing have to go on like Twitter or TikTok or something to feel terrible, and spread that terrible feeling that they feel all over the place about Sydney Sweeney and how Nazi propaganda and racist it is. Because they literally have nothing. As a guy, at least we have the pain, at least we have the loneliness, at least we have the suffering that we can choose and build and grow from. They don't have that shit. Also, they can't really grow into shit. I'm gonna be real with you, man. The stress and pain of grinding and locking into something is something that not a lot of women can really understand and gel with. You know, and on top of that, be patient enough to stay with for a really long time when a lot of them, even their friends, are going to stop them. And that's why a lot of people stop on these random, crazy grind, growth, music, art journeys, because their friends stop them. And as a guy, you can just naturally be like, oh, well, duh, then I'll just get rid of all my friends, obviously. But as a girl, that's like all your power, like all of your power. Like as a girl, if you run into a mistake or a problem in life, there's not a lot of ways you can get out of it by yourself. And it's the same thing with a guy, right? You still need people as a human, as a person. But mentally and psychologically, we're kind of meant to lead those people. So we can mentally lead ourselves into a future that has more people instead of bringing more people with us into that future. Like guys can choose strategically and have that vision. Girls need people around them at all times, or they will crash out. I'm not even joking. I mean, maybe there are, you know, there's always fucking differences on the spectrum and shit, but in general, guys, you can't go without talking to people. I definitely went to the wrong place. If you're looking at the gameplay here, this is kind of funny. I went to the wrong area a little bit, so we're gonna grind a little bit on the metal slabs, and then I'll just cut to the other side here. And then we'll meet our maker. The death master that we all want to be. You know, the guy that she tells you not to worry about, essentially. But yeah, it's truly a trial and a tribulation when you are looking for basically anything now, because the CEOs and corporations have figured out this crazy way to keep their bottom line huge and hire a bunch of people that seemingly don't do anything and pay them instead to keep a bunch of poor people poor and establish, an eradication of the middle class, essentially. Not to radicalize you, but that's the reality of the situation that I've seen for a long time. Luckily, I was born into a family that loves to work and instilled the meaning in love to work, love to grind in myself, so that I can, not only sustain myself off of their funds, because, like I said, the middle class is gone, so there is no way I can really survive by myself, no matter how much I work, especially without that slight, I don't even call it toxic masculine, but the slight force that everybody is calling toxic masculine that I've been, sort of taught to not do. That level of force that I'm not comfortable with will make you grow. It's just, like I said, I'm not comfortable with it, and no, nor do I want to really um grow into something that I wouldn't really want to naturally fall back into. Like, I don't want that tension on my back the entire time, when I know in reality, motherfucker like me want to be chilling on the back and not commanding any kind of fucking army. Like, no, I am good. And essentially, that's what you have to do corporately, or at least force yourself to be an invaluable asset who constantly takes and asks for more. And I don't like the pressure of constantly being like, oh, you're gonna lose your job, or you're gonna lose your job. Because I put way more pressure on myself. And I honestly laugh at that. I laugh like, I'm gonna lose my job? Like, oh, wow, then I'll have to search for a job for another 3 weeks. Oh, crazy. Crazy work. Like, you guys don't know how insane a person's work ethic can be, just from the simple fact that, I have problems, I have mistakes, and I learn from them because I have an autistic way of following directions. And I really have to stop stressing myself out so much, because I feel like because of that I should be way, way, way farther in my life than I am now. But, then it's the constant loop of, planning and overanalyzing things and getting stuck in the stasis of capitulation. Truly, 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 you just have to take one step, one action every day, whether it be the workout, the healthy, the eating, the food, or whatever. It's one step. It's one solitary bounce, grind, movement. Because, essentially, no one's going to tell you whether you're in the right or the wrong, and as a matter of fact, most of the advice that they will give you without solid data will not work for you. And if it does, sometimes it will not be what you authentically want from your life. You gotta watch what data you are instilling, not only in your soul, but what you're creating, because I feel like we are all trying to be creators. But in that creation, you gotta kind of kill a little bit of yourself. And not recognizing that can blind us to the fact that, we're just doing all this for everybody else and running in circles, when in reality you don't care about any of that. This consumer mindset is actively killing just regular schmegular guys, regular schmegular girls. And you don't need it, I don't need it. It's so funny. Like it's everything. It's all connected in that. And the death is needed. I'm very sorry, Nellum, but the death was needed, right? Because if we really just kill all this shit, we go N95, Kendrick Lamar, and take it all off. What employers want is a nice, easy to work with, flexible person who shows up on time and complains not at all. Now, if they treated that person right, we'd all be good. But they require that person to also advocate for their own rights in any workplace. And, it's the same with the whole dating concept and the whole housing market. Dating wise, nobody really wants anything too complicated. You know, the whole 6 feet, 6 inches, six figures thing with guys, like, that is not true. That is not true. I can't really, like, anecdotally say myself it's not true, because I'm like fucking 6'2", 6'1", or whatever. I don't know how tall I am, but I'm higher than 6. And, my dick is a good size. We're not gonna get into that, but my dick is a good size. I don't have a lot of money, like I've said, but you know, you really don't need that. I've seen guys with a lot less than me still succeed. And the whole thing with girls, and you know, you have to be, you know, every time I go on a date, I have to spend all this money on makeup, and I have to do all these beautiful things, I have to be so subservient, and I have to do this and this, and he wants me to work and do this. And I'm like, he really doesn't. And girls are so crazy on not understanding what guys want and hoping they'll approach them, when I know every guy would be so happy to have a girl talk to them. They're just scared. And I'm saying, guys, grow some fucking balls, man. Also, if you don't want to talk to girls, use that energy for something else besides gooning. You know, be creative with your concepts of this. I'm saying it can be anything, but just use the energy for something else. I'm not even saying stop gooning. Just, you know, take a portion of that, put it towards something else, and maybe keep gooning until the something else gives you what you actually need in life. You know, once that something else thing starts giving you back what you need, you'll notice, hey, I don't need to goon too much no more. You know, I don't need this every day anymore, because the energy that I was putting into that, I'm actually getting back from this other thing. And guys, it will take time. Sometimes multiple years. People don't really value that. Oh, wait, I was about to say instant gratification. Delayed gratification, you know? Sometimes you gotta die for a long time, fellas, and we're built for that. You realize, back in the day, there used to be coming-of-age ceremonies where your motherfucking ass went out in the woods. Went on! You went out! You're gone! Your parents were like, survive, bitch! Survive, bitch! You're 12, you got it! I've taught you enough. We don't have that anymore. And I think I was very young. I was watching the Chugga Conroy Let's Play where they had that coming of age ceremony in the marsh. You know, where you fought the giant bird, and I was like, this is kind of crazy, because I feel like I haven't had a good male figure kind of like ring me up through that. You know, we were just kind of stumbling through. It's insanity. It's insanity.
Ownership, the blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off, I get off at my feet. When I hear music, it makes me dance. You got the music, now it's your chance. A yeet nigga couldn't try me in a tri-state. Buddy pass, bet I get him splashed till he hydrated. Bounce out, know he spook town, eyes dilated. I got the money and the power, both gyrating. I feel good, get the fuck out my face. Look good, but she don't got no